Greetings, humanity, and welcome once again to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is It Came from the Late 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 Show, a game from the late 1980s about actors playing characters in terrible B-movies being shown on TV late at night. We're going to go around and find out who we have here with us today, who they're playing, and who they're playing. And we're going to go ahead and start with Levi. Hello.
Hello, I am Levi. I use he, they pronouns, and today I shall be playing Desmond Thurgood, who in turn is playing Science Dr. Gilbert. Who both use he, him.
Excellent, excellent. And now we're going to head over to Sway. Hello.
Hi, my name is Sway, she, they pronouns. I'm going to be playing Abigail Bennett, and she will be playing Natasha Brown.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, we're going to head over to Rod. Hello.
Hi, I'm Rod, ye, him, and I will be playing actor Michael Meager, who will be playing medical doctor Hippocrates Sirius.
Excellent, excellent. We have two doctors. I'm glad we're distinguishing the specifics. Excellent, excellent. But before we dive in, like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of atomic mutation, giant animals, insects, reptiles, amphibians, monsters, simulated character death, that is, actors pretending to die, fake blood, simulated animal death, with the use of paper, rubber, or cloth animal props, and/or trained animals playing dead, B-movie tropes, horror tropes, and violence. If you want to see that, and you're watching live on Twitch, you want to see that at any time, you can type !late CW, and that will pop up. That's also going to come up regularly on rotation, so you'll be able to see that there as well. And on a final note, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, It Came from the Late 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 Show is it's an artifact of a previous time, before CBS claimed the title The Late Show for an actual late night show back in the 90s. The Late Show had become kind of a generic term that folks used for any show that was on late at night, and a lot of times local stations would play movies late at night. This also happened on cable channels. Fairly often, they would have a host who would show movies, so the joke being, it's like, okay, after the Late Show is the Late Late Show, and so after the Late Late Show is the Late 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 Show, and so that is what we are doing tonight. This is a game that takes place in 3 time periods. We have the movie that is taking place this evening. That's Night of the Colossal Desert Creatures. We have the time when the movie is being shot and the actors are moving around doing things, and I'll be describing things in terms mostly of how the actors see things, and then in terms of how the audience watching at home sees things, and that's the 3rd time period, much later, when this is being shown on TV late at night. I just want to go over, real quick, for us, a few of the core mechanics. I'll actually, let me go over those. I'll do that second. first, I just have a few questions I want to run us through here that I want to ask each of our players so I can fill in some last-minute details. I'm going to go ahead and start with Levi. So Desmond Thurgood, playing Dr. Gilbert, the scientist. I have as your motivation, chew so much scenery. Is that right?
Precisely.
Excellent, excellent. Your stunt double's name is Rick Harrington. Is that right? Tell me one interesting thing about Rick.
He is something that's quite dangerous for a stunt double. Incredibly clumsy, but he's the only guy that could actually match the build.
Excellent, excellent. Now, what is your fame?
My fame is, let's see, 30 by the look. Yep, that's the 30.
30. Okay. Did you or your agent try to get any particular stipulation or special thing into the contract for this film?
If I recall correctly, there was mention of my character having a scene in which he gets to use a sword.
Ah.
It's
okay.
My highest combat talent.
So we're gonna see how well that stuck. Please roll fame for me.
Alrighty. And I presume this is a roll under, so I'm looking to hit 30 or lower.
Yep. It's like Cthulhu in that respect.
Yes. Oh, that is so close. A 35.
35, you almost made it. Okay. So I think they're gonna so they were able to get it in there, but the definition of sword is gonna be a little loose.
That is reasonable.
So it's yeah, so we'll see. They're gonna let you use some kind of a weapon. Maybe it's a sword. We'll see.
Sword adjacent.
Yeah, could be sword adjacent. But it's in there is a thing in your contract about it. And now we're going to move over to Sway. You're playing Abby Bennett, and
Yes.
Abby is a rancher.
Yeah.
Well, not Abby. Sorry, Abby is playing Tasha Brown. Tasha is a rancher. I gotta get this straight. And I've got as your motivation making her mama proud. Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And I have your stunt double as Danny Williams. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me one interesting thing about Danny.
Danny is honestly Danny. I love Danny. Danny is my favorite person, even though I just met her.
Excellent. Okay, that actually tells me more about Abby as well. So that's very good. Excellent, excellent. And what's your fame score?
19.
19. Okay. Did you or your agent try to get anything special or interesting, any particular or weird asks or anything into your contract for this movie?
Pardon? An agent? I don't know what that is. I kind of wandered on set one day. And now I'm here.
Okay. Did you ask for anything when they were setting up your contract, or did you just take whatever they gave you?
Anything they gave me.
Okay. Nothing special in the contract. All right. Excellent, excellent. I think they said vague things about, okay, you can do 2 before you have to join equity. I think that was what they said. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that once. But finally, you may note that they didn't actually, at the end of this thing, they didn't pay you with a check so much as they paid you in cash. It was unusual. Anyway, finally, we're going to go over to Rod. Michael, was it Michael Mager? Was that how you said it?
Yes, yeah. You might remember him from was that? I will tell you 1 second. From the previous movie, Scuba Diving Zombies at Bikini Beach.
Yes, that's right. We played a session off stream a while ago. That was me. I was playing one of the scenarios that came. I was running one of the scenarios that came with the game, so that I could. That was when I ran it for the first time ever. I was running that game. The Late Show. I planned to run the Late Show like 25 to 30 years ago. Finally getting around to it this year. Sometimes it takes a while. And in this movie, Michael is playing Dr. Hippocrates Sirius. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you took the role of the doctor. This is the medical doctor. And I'm so sad reading this. It says your motivation is to break up with his girlfriend and to inform her via the movie.
Yeah, this is the same girlfriend that he was trying to get back in the previous movie, but it hasn't worked out, and he hasn't been able to break up with her. So.
It's so sad. It did not work out. But it says here your stunt double is David Hansen.
Yes.
And you've already actually said that is this what you want to have as your interesting fact that he has a crush on Michael?
Yes, he was my stunt double from the previous movie also.
Ah, excellent.
So he's moved over.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's fairly common. You know, you find someone who looks enough like you, they put them in. But interesting. Okay. And let's see. Finally, what is your character's fame score?
31.
31. Excellent. And did you have any weird asks or any other interesting stipulations, either you or your agent, for the contract for this movie?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he would ask.
Okay. That's fine. Alrighty. There we are. I'm just going to briefly highlight, there are a few mechanics of this game I just want to go over real quick ahead of time, that are the sort of the meta mechanics that one sees most often. First off, we've mentioned stunt doubles. Just so everyone knows, you can at any time call for your stunt double. If at some point we end up breaking things into frames, which is kind of how they talk about combat. And essentially, we have a number of frames in a take, and a take is like a round. Or like, nope, got that wrong. A frame is kind of like a round, and you have 6 frames in a take. That's right. Because each frame's about like 10 seconds in this. Unless we've broken up into frames, then you can pretty much call your stunt double in whenever you like. If we do get to a point where we get into combat, I'll let you know the point by which you need to call in your stunt double. We'll jump into that. It's before the monster moves. That's typically how that works. But yeah, anytime it's your stunt double on camera instead of you, then they take, if they take any hit of survival points, they take that instead of you. But remember, you only get one stunt double, so once they hit 0 survival points, they get carted off, and it's just you from that point on. So let's see. We also have walking off the set, which is a thing that if you feel like you want to change something for your character in the narrative, you want to make some kind of a deal, you can say that you try to walk off the set. That requires a fame roll. And if you succeed, then you can go off to sulk in your trailer or somewhere, and then we negotiate. If you do not succeed at the roll, then we keep going. The movie will keep going, and we sort of just see what happens. Then we have the commercial break, which I'll talk about more. I'm doing a special thing with it. I'm not using the commercial break as written. But suffice it to say, there will be an opportunity for some of these actors to gain additional fame points during this session. And those will be keyed to the commercial breaks, which, again, we'll talk about when we get there. So, let's see. Anything else? Yes, the film break, which is a thing that can only be done once per movie. If everyone agrees, someone can initiate a film break. And the way that works is that at least one fame point needs to be burned permanently to cause the film to break. Everyone can collectively, if they want, spend up to 10 fame points, burn up to 10 fame points to make it happen. And then when you do it, a die is rolled, and you have to roll the number of fame points burned or under that. So if 10 fame points are spent, then it happens automatically. When that happens, then you get to your character. Your characters are moved to safety because there's a scene missing. The film breaks. There's a scene missing, and then you have to come up with an explanation for how you got there. Basically, that you say briefly on screen as you're starting the next scene that is available. It's a good way to get out of tight corners if you can't get out of tight corners. But remember, you can only be done once per movie. So, we are going to start in a moment. But first, do we have any questions or anything else anyone wants to talk about before we get into this?
All sounds good to me.
All right. Let's get going. Doo-doo-doo. So, it is late at night, and across some cluster of counties somewhere in the United States, TVs are turning on as we start up the Late, Late, Late show. Let me go ahead and pull this open here. Yes, here we go. You're going to see one of a number of hosts over the years of the Late, Late, Late show. See this sort of stout-looking gentleman in who is wearing a pair of fake horns. Is dressed up in a strange sort of demonic fashion, standing in some kind of antebellum living room or something similar, or something, whatever they tried to, whatever cheap props they tried to get for the set. And he glares into the camera. Good evening, fellow night creatures, and welcome to the Late, Late, Late show, where only the most devilish of media goes on display. I'm Quentin Grimm, and tonight we go out to a lonely town in the southwest, near an area where nuclear experiments were once conducted. But I'm sure it will be fine. After all, nothing bad ever came of abandoned experiments. We present a sobering tale of unforeseen consequences and a desperate struggle to survive. This film was directed by the great Caspar Hasselbach, a German filmmaker, with a quest to discover the true American West. And boy, did he look for it. Get your popcorn, turn out the lights, sit back and enjoy Night of the Colossal Desert Creatures. And the movie begins. As the opening credits roll, we see this movie that maybe it's from the early 70s, maybe it's from the late 60s. It's kind of hard to tell. We have a lot of stock footage of the desert, southwestern America. Probably it's not all of the same desert, but we see a number of shots of different desert animals. We see a few iguanas. We see some geckos. A few burrowing mammals. Insects. We see panning in. We see an old, very sort of gray square building made of concrete, looks like, with some dying trees around it and tufts of grass, thick tufts of grass. Cooking, baking in the heat. We see burst into flames briefly from being so dry and hot. As we pan away, we come away, we cut to another shot where we see smoke coming up over a canyon. We zoom in a little bit into the canyon. We can't really zoom all the way into the canyon. We can't afford that. But we see this little cave with this green liquid spilling down into a pool. And we can't see very well, but the shadows of something approaching this green pool. And then we shall find ourselves coming upon a little town. And just before we come upon the little town, as we see this town at a distance, splashed across the screen is Night of the Colossal Desert Creatures. We're going to zoom in on this town. Little town out in the desert. This is the town of Briarville. You see briefly a sign that says, entering Briarville, population is hard to make out, but it's a very low number. You're going to see people going about their daily lives. We see it's basically you've got a main street and then goes off into sort of housing and a bunch of other things, a bunch of other places. Then they're further out on the outskirts. But down on Main Street, there's a grocery store, there's a hardware store, a town hall, drugstore. There's a diner, there's a post office, a church, a bank, a motel. You see the various employees who work at these places. And as we sweep around, we're going to see shots also of our protagonists. And this is where we are introducing them, and we are going to see a little bit of what they're doing and what their lives are like. I think we're going to start, let's see. Yeah. I think we're going to start with Tasha, Abby's character Tasha. How far out is your ranch, do you think, from the town?
Well, maybe 10 miles out.
10 miles
It's
out?
a distance.
Yeah, it's quite a distance. What kind of animals do you raise on your ranch?
Oh, I'm so happy to tell you about them. Well, I love horses, and we have a few of them. We have Buttercup, we have Rainbow, we have the Stinker. It's a little stinker. almond. And we have the fourth one, caramel. We also have pigs and goats and cows. Oh, cows. There's a cow named Betsy. Oh, I love her. Well,
Excellent.
I think that's all we have.
Okay.
And some chickens. Chickens. Oh, I love chickens.
You also have chickens?
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. So would you say it's a pretty varied ranch with a lot of different sort of farm animals, which is fine because there are a fair number of farmers in this region. You have you have a neighbor on one side who's a farmer. You're gonna have there are probably. And there's another rival rancher that also raises animals a little bit further out. He primarily deals in heads of cattle. And I'll provide names as needed as we see them. But just as a little sort of as part of this sort of montage, what do we see Tasha doing?
Well, Tasha most definitely is brushing the mane of Buttercup, the strongest of the group. That's her favorite horse. Been her horse since day one, since she was a baby. Well, yeah, that is what Natasha's doing right now.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So we see you doing that. We see you basically hanging out there. We see that we're going to see briefly a couple of vehicles drive by on the road not far from your ranch. That you can kind of see from where you are at the stables, and you see that these vehicles are meant to ship cattle, essentially, and let me grab the thing here. Yes, this is. They're coming from Emerson's ranch. They have you don't need to even read it. You know from here it'll say Emerson's ranch on the side, and Abby, the Casper, the director, will have will say to you, this is your rival. This is the one who is trying to take your land and move in on you. You must give a look for us as you see them clearly going off to do business. The camera will give you a close-up as you're looking out at them.
I don't like that partner over there.
We see this look of disdain. Go ahead.
And Buttercup, I don't know how he got over here with his little cattle and stuff, but unfortunately, he's neighbor. And Mama always said be kind to neighbors, but I don't really like him. Buttercup.
Buttercup nods in agreement.
You always been my day one, Buttercup.
What are Buttercup's pronouns?
She, her.
She, her. Gotcha. Yeah, she nods in agreement, and could be in part because you've been brushing her down and stuff, and she likes that. But also she could be just agreeing with what you have to say, possibly.
And Buttercup.
Yeah.
Me and Buttercup has a special connection.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to fade over, and we're going to focus on Dr. Gilbert. I think.
Huh?
Wait a minute. Are we focusing on Dr. Gilbert? No. Wait.
Ooh.
Hang on. I must keep. I should have put it on the overlay. Let me check in here. Let me check in here, because I know I have an order I want to do this in. Yes. Yes. We don't focus on Dr. Gilbert yet. First, we're going to just switch over to Dr. Sirius. So, Michael, for Dr. Sirius, what do we see? What do we see of Dr. Sirius?
I think he's in his medical office, and there's a young kid there, and the kid's parents, and he has his white coat, his stethoscope, and he's like, remember, Timmy, never play with stop playing with cactuses. Here, and I give him like a grape lollipop, and then I give a lollipop to the mom as well.
Excellent. Like, oh, thank you so much. The kid is barely looking at you during the whole thing, but he's been instructed to take the lollipop, so he takes it. And you'll see basically that they are that as she sort of looks at you. Oh, thank you, Doctor. You're so good with people. And start taking him out of the office. Whereabouts is your office, do you think, relative to the main street of the town? Sorry, how far away from the center of town?
I would say maybe not close to the center. It would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, not at the dead center, but close enough.
Pretty close. Okay. Cool. This is a very small town. It's fairly walkable, as these things go. They built it very quickly. So we'll go ahead and then we go ahead and make a quick note, just so that I'll know. Doctor's office near center of town. Good. And then we're also going to fade across to see Dr. Gilbert. Where does Dr. Gilbert work? What is Dr. Gilbert doing?
I think we see this very, like... I think we just see this very, very plainly, with this very Spartan workspace. One corner covered with several appliances covered in tinfoil, meant to act as the various doohickeys that Dr. Gilbert uses to take readings. And there's this stock audio of a Geiger counter. And we see this older man kind of crouched over, like a polygraph lie detector. It's like, yes, all of my works. I finally found them.
What do we see? What have you found? Do we know?
Not yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me.
I'll go
let me
according to
see.
plan.
So, the scientist is coaching in geology and nuclear physics.
Mm-hmm.
Expert talent coaching in nuclear physics. There is, according to the script, there is your character used to be involved with experiments that were conducted not too far from here, elsewhere in the desert. So there was a small nuclear plant, that since lost funding, and so you've been doing other stuff. Where is your lab, roughly?
It's probably close to the edge of town. Not so far out to be nowhere near it, but still like on the outskirts of it. Very out of the way of the people going about their townsfolk business.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see. Do you have any assistants?
That would make sense. I think I don't have any names handy.
That's okay. I'll be grabbing one in a moment.
Yeah.
Tell me a thing about your assistant.
I think her actor would be barely college age. Just some random young person they found off the street.
Excellent. Good. So let's see. I think we're going to say that the character's name is Laura Snow. And let's see. The actor's name is going to be Evelyn Reed. So, yes, so she is a very green actor, and so so let's see. She's going to come in, and there's a little bit of fake blood that has been placed across her palm. And as she's coming in, she's going to let's see. She's going to be coming in, sort of carrying a box that you have asked her to bring in, and she is setting it down. And the director tells you to notice the cut on the hand.
Why, Laura, you're injured.
Oh. Yes. It's probably nothing, Dr. Gilbert. I was just setting the samples in place on the shelving units, and the edge of the shelf caught my hand. It's I was going to try and get it get a bandage or something.
Yes, they should be in the hall. If not, then if they aren't in the cabinet in the hall, then Dr. Sirius isn't too far from here.
And she nods, and she'll briefly look over, and as she's trying to head out, is all right. I'll take care of that. Is everything going well, Doctor?
Yes. The signals that we've put out have been having some remarkable feedback. Yes, the residual radiation appears to be going quite strong still.
Oh. That's wonderful, she says as she remembers her line.
And there's like a visible deflation in the posture before he's back in character. Now, there's still much work to be done, but any progress is good progress.
And she will nod enthusiastically. The camera's going to follow her out into the hall as she's looking around for the bandage. She doesn't seem to find it, and she's sort of shaking her head, and she moves off camera, and it shows in the background. The camera's going to show one of these. There's machinery that has been cobbled together, control panels that basically they threw together from mostly its old car parts that they glued onto this thing that they last used in the sci-fi movie a little bit ago. But there's this one red light on it. It just starts blinking unseen. And now another thing will happen. We're going to head back out to. We're gonna have a shot of again more sort of stock footage, distant shot. The desert, things are starting to dim a little bit. You're getting into late afternoon, and we're out by Sascha's ranch, and we're going to see that Sascha is going to, as you're sort of out in the corral, sort of getting getting sort of the horses their exercise for the day, and the director tells you this is surprising. You look and you'll notice there's this distant. You think you see it's like dark smoke on the horizon.
Betsy. Well, that looks mighty odd. Maybe I should. But the horses. Well, ooh. I'm gonna go see what's going on. Maybe someone's in danger. So, I think Tasha walks over to whichever area if it's close by, but she makes sure to close the pen of the horses, just to see what's going on, to see if anyone's in danger.
Sure, absolutely. Are you now? It's a little bit of a ways. Are you riding out, or are you just walking out?
I know the distance. Okay, if it's the distance, I will take Buttercup out and right. Well, not Betsy. Sorry, that's the horse of the name of my horse back home. Buttercup. We're gonna go ride now. Be kind to me.
All right. So you are going to be out riding. Let me see. Yes. I think just for the sake of my amusement, if nothing else, could you make a riding roll for me?
Okay. I got a 42.
Okay. And your riding total, I think, is 50. Is that right?
I believe so.
Because you've got the rancher roll.
Yeah, it's below 50.
Excellent.
I mean, it's 50.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so you are so it doesn't take too long for you to get out a little further out. As you're heading out, you see that as you get a little further out, you're able to see that. So there is still several miles distant from here. There is a canyon, and beyond that canyon, you know there is this old. You weren't sure it was like a government building, and you see smoke rising from that. It looks like actually the building. You can't really see the building very well from here, but you know that's what's over there on the opposite side of the canyon. And then something else. And then you're going to notice, we have a shot of you riding out. We have a shot of you stopping and looking. Thank you for the raid, Lazarwolf. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. I hope your stream went well. As you are out there, you're going to notice something. There's going to be a shot of you, because the director tells you to ride up and stop, and you ride up and stop, you hit your mark, and...
Whoa, Bets. Whoa, Buttercup.
Pull up, and there's a shot we see near some cacti of something that seems to be... something unusual that seems to be half covered in the sand.
Well, that's odd. Mighty odd. What may that be, Buttercup?
Some sort of...
Should we go check it out?
Yeah.
Or should I at least check it out?
It's like some sort of... It looks like some sort of dead creature. You think from here, that's what you'd guess it is? It's just lying very still there.
Well, poor thing. I mean, maybe I can save it? Probably should save it. Mama always said be kind to those who can't help themselves. And Tasha, tries to, walk over as she can to this, I assume, dead creature. I don't know what it is.
So, it's about... You realize, you look at it, at first you think, okay, is this some kind of a... Is this like a pet? No, this might be more like a large lizard or something, but you can't really tell. It's covered by the sand. And as you come closer, you realize, as you are looking at this, that this is a large insect.
Oh.
You realize as you're looking at the head, it's like the head of a grasshopper. But it's much bigger than any grasshopper you have ever seen. It's like 4 feet long.
Wow. I didn't know they came out this big. What might have happened to this one? Ugh. Is this one of their experiments or something? I don't really like them. Ugh. Maybe they ate too much. I know when Betsy eats a lot, they get big, but Betsy is a cow, and this is a grasshopper. I don't really think... Wait a minute. I don't like the look of this. I don't think I can help you, strange creature thing.
Casper kind of is saying, "All right, I need you to just get down a little closer and brush some of the sand off it, so we can see, so we can see the model work. It's very important."
Okay. And Tasha bends down.
Yeah, it's.
Swipe some of the sand off. It seems like you're dying or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how to touch you.
Yeah, it's a rubber grasshopper, but they tell you to behave as though it's real. It's it's basically, yes, this very large, and I've gone ahead in I've posted to everyone in Roll20 a picture of the type of grasshopper this is, so that you'll see it's the Western horse lover grasshopper. So it's they painted the fake creature corpse like sort of black and yellow, black with yellow stripes, and yeah, so they you see it, and it's just sort of down there, and then they play this as they tell you to stand up and look at it in horror.
That's
Excellent.
a scary creature.
Excellent. Good. We're gonna cut now to let's see, what do we see happening? I think that I think we're going to see briefly as we sort of we're going to head back to town. We're going to see in Dr. Sirius's office. We're going to see Laura, Gilbert's assistant, come in as she wants, and we're gonna have a brief scene where we see she comes over and toward Dr. Sirius. She says, "Oh, Doctor, I cut my hand, and unfortunately we didn't have any, or we're out of supplies."
My goodness, quick, sit down. Let me take a look at that. What were you doing?
Oh, I was moving some. We've been doing a certain amount of research, and I was moving one of our boxes of research stock over to the shelves, and I cut it open on the shelf.
Ah, yes. You're in a very dangerous field of work.
I'll say, she says.
And I just, take a gauze and start, dabbing it and picking up Band-Aids.
Yeah, it seems to be going well. Yeah, and so you're doing all of that. Go ahead and do you have so important question. As I'm once again looking here, let's see. You have expert talent coaching in medicine. So if you would make a medicine roll for me real quick.
Sure.
Excellent. So you are you do very well. Very expertly. You're looking at it, and it occurs to you that the that you probably need to, since you're the only person in town. This is a very small town. You're like the only person in town who can do this kind of thing. At some point, you should probably check the site. You know, you do a test. She does not have tetanus, which is good. But you notice that she just sort of that's her thing. So Casper will tell you. So she has narrowly avoided getting tetanus. You need to let her know that she has that her working conditions are not completely, that her working conditions are perhaps not completely safe, and you should probably come over to inspect them.
Oh, my goodness, there's a lot of residual tetanus causing material on your hand that I've detected. Your workplace is not safe, Laura. Did you notice?
Oh. But I think we do have some pretty old shelving. Unfortunately, we don't have very much of a budget.
I understand, as you can see from my office, but I will need to come over to do an inspection. We don't want this to happen again.
Oh, well, if you think it'll help, certainly.
Oh yes, it'll help. And I give her a lollipop.
Oh, thank you. I just love the idea that you have an infinite supply of lollipops on you. You know, once again, we've gotten into the movie already. We've gotten knee deep in the movie already, and we didn't do props. I keep forgetting to do props until we're already playing. Important to note. In addition to any props that I give you during this, you can ahead of time have a number of props equal to your fame divided by 10, rounded down. So, like if your fame is in the teens, then that's one prop. If your fame is below 10, that's no additional props. If your fame is in the 20s, that's 2 props. If your fame is in the 30, that's three props. You can basically look. It's near the end of the players section document to show the kinds of props you can have on you. I'm not going to ask you about them right now, but just to give you an idea of the sort of level of props you can have, and we'll sort it out as we get there. This movie is a little bit different. There's a lot of opportunity to pick things up and put things down. We're going to have a quick scene. We're going to show again. We're establishing shots of the town. We're going to show. Dr. Sirius and Laura heading over to the outskirts of town. Possibly what happens. It's one of those weird scenes where you probably it's at the edge. Do you want to drive or walk?
It probably looks better driving, I guess.
They have given you access to a vehicle. And you're a doctor. They've given you one of those sort of bigger, wider vehicles. And so there's this scene where it's like she takes her bicycle and puts it in the trunk, and you will drive, and they have you driving her over back to work. See, once again, we're going to see, let's see, I think we're going to have a shot of Tasha riding into town.
Well, howdy.
And coming around toward the, and a couple of people wave friendly like. A couple of extras wave friendly like. We're going to show your destination in a moment, but we're going to show Dr. Sirius and Laura walking into Dr. Gilbert's office. The director Desmond, the director, tells you, all right, so you're going to notice them coming in and go to the outer office.
Dr. Gilbert notices them coming in and goes to the outer office. It's like, Laura, Hippocrates.
Yes.
What brings you here?
What's your character's first name?
I don't know if your character has a first name.
Desmond has not been told it, and I don't believe it comes up in the script anywhere.
Okay, all right.
And the script is just Dr. Gilbert.
Hello, Dr. Gilbert.
Yes. What reason do you have to come into the sub-laboratory?
Laura just showed me her hand. I'm afraid you're in terrible danger. Your shelves are tetanus causing and need to be looked at immediately.
The shelves, yes, the shelves are quite a concern here. Yes, feel free to look into our storage unit and look at the shelves, and the shelves alone.
Laura, can you show me where the accident happened?
I can show you, yes. Yes, Doctor. And as Dr. Gilbert goes back into his lab, I don't know if he does, the director tells him to. And then Hippocrates sort of is stepping forward. Michael, the director tells you, I need you to notice the red flashing light on the control panel, please. As Laura is trying to walk over to show you where the shelves are.
All right. What is this? This looks dangerous.
He turns and sort of looks. Oh, that light hasn't come on before. I'm not sure.
It's red, so it must be a warning.
At this point, we're going to get a shot from outside, and we're going to see Tasha dismounting in front of Dr. Gilbert's lab, because I have a question for you. Did you bring this body with you, or did you leave it where it was?
Well, Abby didn't want to touch the creature in its resting place, so they left it there to rest. So
okay,
it might come. Yeah.
No problem. So there is, strangely, in front of every building, there is a hitching post. So they show you, hitching Buttercup to the post, and the director has told you are here to ask Dr. Gilbert about the strange corpse you found in the desert.
Anyone see Dr. Gilbert? Dr. Gilbert. I need to talk to Dr. Gilbert, please. I need to talk to Dr. Gilbert.
She's like shots of her walking through the outer office, and you sort of pass by and entering the room with Hippocrates and Laura.
Dr. Gilbert, listen, I have to tell you something, and it's really, 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 dangerous. I think it's dangerous. Well, I saw a grasshopper the size of a cactus. I don't know how, but I saw it. I saw it with my own two eyes. I think you need to see it immediately. I don't know. I'm not really too bright. They always said I wasn't the brightest of the bunch, but I think it was a grasshopper. It had yellow and brown. Was it brown? I think it's black. No, it's black. It was black and yellow stripes. And I think you need to see this. I'm not too bright, so I think you'd like to see this, please. Dr. Gilbert, I'm not saying you, Dr. Gilbert.
Dr. Gilbert will arrive in the outer office, kind of weirdly spry for his age, barricading the door with his body. Yes, do you say grasshopper? With
Yes.
yellow and black, possibly brown stripes.
Yes.
That's very bad news indeed.
It's the size of a cactus. I don't think you realize that. You just said you saw a grasshopper. I saw a grasshopper the size of a cactus, 4 feet long. It looked like a snake, but it wasn't a snake. It was a grasshopper. I promise you.
A grasshopper 4 feet long.
Yes.
You simply must take me to it.
Immediately. You can get on my horse and we can go. Buttercup is real nice, but you can't. Don't start her.
And then we, I think we cut to, if we have the scene here, I will note that the stunt double will be on the horse.
The stunt double will end up on the horse. Okay, well, there's one thing that needs to happen here, briefly.
Correct. So go ahead. Right.
And so as you're sort of in the outer office, Hippocrates has been able to hear all of this, and Laura is still there. And as you're sort of starting to follow Tasha, Laura will speak up. Oh, Dr. Gilbert, an indicator light has come on.
Dr. Gilbert will creep over to where and will say the thing that whatever it's meant to indicate.
According to the script, this light has not come on for a very long time because it is connected to the. It's an emergency light that is supposed to provide. From the old security system at the nuclear test site.
There's like a reverse shot between Dr. Gilbert and the lights. The testing site. The corpse may have to wait. And then I think he will start to explain. Now, many years ago, during the testing for bombs during the war, this site and the old nuclear testing site, a few miles out, were linked. I was not very happy with the Rex at the time, but there have been very dangerous things going on in that site. We must go quickly.
Are you saying these grasshoppers are man-made and man did this?
Yes, a true monsters, Miss Tasha.
Okay. Let's see what we can do.
Sounds like my skills might be needed. I assume
Yes.
you'll want me to go.
Oh, yes, absolutely, Doctor. And Laura, we may need an extra set of hands here.
Okay, Doctor. And so my question to you: how is everyone getting there?
Well, my horse Buttercup can only beat 2. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I have my car.
Yeah, I think those are the two shots of Rick as Dr. Gilbert behind Tasha on the horse, and yeah.
So we're gonna have a shot. The good thing, the interesting and ominous thing about this is that the grasshopper corpse is on the way to the nuclear facility. So it is possible to stop there on the way.
Oh, did I tell you? I forgot to tell you. The thing up, I think the nuclear plant you said, I don't know what that is. It said it was on fire. I think it was on fire. I saw a lot of smoke. It was a lot of smoke. There's a lot of bad smoke.
Yes, that's very bad news indeed.
It is.
Yes, very bad. So, my question is, do you all want to stop off and look at the grasshopper corpse first, or do you just want to go directly to the site?
Oh, we have to look at the grasshopper.
Yeah, that all costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's right. We paid the prop department to make that grasshopper. So you can see that there's a long shot showing it getting later in the day. It's now late afternoon. Soon will be night, or we're going to head towards sunset. We're not at sunset yet. And as you are heading over, there's going to be a shot of Tasha and who's on the horse with Tasha.
I think if it's the shot approaching the grasshopper, then they probably got Desmond to do this shot.
So it's going to be Tasha and Dr. Gilbert on the horse, and Hippocrates and Laura are going to be in the vehicle that is sort of which you can park on the side of the road and walk up. It's not that far. So they're going to see you coming up from a distance. But we have this shot of the horse coming up, pulling up, and then you can kind of see. Well, no, I won't get into that. Yeah, well, you can see this this big sort of this big rubber grasshopper corpse that's lying there near some cacti. And as you're looking at it, Dr. Gilbert, now I think is a great time for you to do some science. I think you must roll nuclear physics.
Alrighty, so 50 or lower. That is a 18.
So, the director tells you, this, or actually, yeah, in the script, and the director will tell you, and now is the moment that you realize, and this is very deep and personal realization for you, that this is the result of atomic mutation that has occurred. Not as a result of, you don't know if it is a direct experiment that has done it, or if it is merely an accident, but that is what has happened. And we must see you realize this now.
There's a long and very drawn out shot, like the hands are at the, it's almost like the Clone High joke where it's just the hands to the face. It's very, like very shaking look of horror. Good God! I do not know what caused this exact specimen, but the atomic mutation has already begun. Projections were years ahead. This could be very bad. Very, very bad. As he backs away from the grasshopper.
And Hippocrates, as you're walking up, and you hear this, you also note The director tells you to note in the distance that you can see smoke over across from where the other side of kind of where there's a canyon. You see smoke sort of lingering in the air over there.
There's some sort of smoke in the distance.
Did
It's just as you said, Sascha.
I did tell you? I did tell you.
And that's a grasshopper. It's as big as a 4-foot cactus. I'm gonna run up to it, and I'm gonna take out my stethoscope and put it to the thing, and I'll turn to the others. It's dead.
No.
I think we could tell that, Doc. It's not moving.
It's true, but don't they hibernate sometimes? Which can be confusing. But no, there's no heartbeat. And I stand up and go back to the others.
I mean, I don't think that's a regular grasshopper. It may look like one, but I don't think it's one. It's too big.
This was once a grasshopper. The scientists at the plant, they projected the wildlife would grow to colossal sizes.
Like dinosaurs?
Yes, exactly.
That sounds cool.
Yes, but it could be disastrous to the entire ecosystem. Or dare I say, the world.
The world. I kind of like the world. I don't think that's cool anymore.
Yes, significantly less cool, Tasha.
We have to make sure.
We have to prevent the spread of these colossal desert creatures.
Said the thing. He said the thing.
Almost. We can roll a credit.
So, yes, you. Yeah, I think that's when they cut the scene. And I presume the next order of business is to head out to the nuclear facility.
It does sound right.
Okay. So let's see. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna probably just in a little bit we're probably going to take a break, but I want to get us to the nuclear facility first. If folks are okay with that.
Sure.
Yep.
So, as we are getting into, as we have a long shot, as you're all riding or driving off, you see that the sun is setting, and you're going to see these shots of this burned out building. This big sort of concrete building that is blackened on some parts of it. It's not burning any longer, but it's sort of still smoking. The fire has burned itself out. Apparently. But it's one of those desert brush fires. In the script, at least, that's what they say it is. Whether they actually made it look like that or not, probably they didn't do a great job. But still, we're gonna have some shots of that. We're gonna have some shots of Dr. Gilbert and Tasha and Hippocrates and Laura approaching the burned out husk of this building. There, the doors are still there. Doors and windows are still there. So a good portion of the building seems to, from the outside at least, seems to still be intact.
Is there a sign on it or anything?
Yes, the sign says, "Do not enter. Government facility."
Well, I don't think any of us is government. I don't really like the government. I feel like they're the reason for a lot of bad things in this world.
Solid
maybe
instinct.
Maybe
Perhaps I
so. Go ahead.
make me correct. And then there's a dramatic pause from under whatever jacket Dr. Gilbert has. But my clearance may still work.
Your what?
And then there's a press to a press to little scanner thing as he pulls out this this ID of an old. It does not look at all like a government ID. It looks more like a old headshot that was printed out onto a bit of cardstock. And it's pressed up to a little scanner thing, and a light turns green, and then there's a shot towards the burned out door. It worked.
Your government?
Former government. I left the project years before it concluded due to my personal projects. Place the ID back in his jacket.
And this is like early 70s, so the light, it's very obvious this green light that turns on. You hear sort of boom, as this what's supposed to be some kind of magical, this little sort of what looks like a little camera, basically is what he has here. And the door clicks open to allow you entry.
Can I really enter here? I'm not government, and I don't want to break any rules.
Since my clearance still works, technically, we are still abiding by the law if you're with me. I am not a lawyer.
I don't really. I guess, but honestly, if anything happens, I'm heading out. I'm sorry. I don't want to get in trouble. Mama said I can't get in trouble. It'll be bad for me.
There's an incredibly solemn nod.
Abby now is in agreement.
Tasha, you work with animals. If there are large animals, there's no other person besides you that I'd rather have here.
Haha. Thanks. That was really kind of you.
I am a medical doctor.
Yeah. You're really cool. You're really cool, Doc. Thank you. Wait. You said there's animals?
There may be.
Oh. If there's any animals in things, I couldn't, my heart couldn't take it. Oh. I hope there's no animals. If there's animals, then I hope they're fine. I really do hope they're fine.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yes.
So we have a shot of you, of the four of you, entering this building, moving through what looked like burned, or what a set that's been built to look like burned hallways, and down a set of stairs into a laboratory area. Half of this room is burned, There are a couple of rooms. Actually, it's a series of rooms. And the one you're entering into, part of it has been burned. And as you are entering, you will see that you have a couple of rooms. One is where you come through and you see first is the storage area, which has been hit the hardest. And then there's another room nearby, it's just sort of down a hall and around that you can't see from here yet. But according to the script, that's it's the lab, basically. The next room is the lab. And as you head down, you see this sort of area, sort of in the back of storage, these big drums, big barrels. And it looks as though there's been fire coming through here. And let's see, I'd like, just for fun, everyone please make a brains roll for me, please.
Well,
That is a 47, which is a failure.
mine's is a 79.
Okay.
And so,
I actually made it.
You made it.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a 4. You did really well. So Hippocrates will be the first to notice this. As you are all looking around, we're going to see, as we have shots of you all just sort of looking through. There are burnt out filing cabinets. There are burned, and charred desks, and Hippocrates will see behind these big drum barrels, these big barrels, that it looks like you'll note that one of them has cracked open. And then there's also, by the way, apparently there's been a bit of tectonic activity because the wall behind it is also cracked. And this green substance has leaked out of the barrel and pooled and has dropped down into that crack. It looks like it's been that way for some time. And what is Hippocrates' immediate reaction to this? Giving you a close-up.
Expertise. Yeah. Yeah, his face is of shock. Dr. Gilbert, they're...
No, you can finish your line.
I thought you were pausing me.
All right, cut. Let's try that line again.
Oh, yes. All right, sorry. Dr. Gilbert, there appears to be some sort of green liquid.
We're going to cut over to Dr. Gilbert and Tasha. You have sort of wandered a little bit further down the hall, where you note they have a brief shot as you glance briefly into a small office where they show it's actually not really an office. It was like a combination office and exercise room because they could only get so many exercise props in there. and looked like there's a wall with fencing foils on it. They show that briefly, and then, as you turn, rounding the corner, Gilbert and Tasha, you see it. Sort of hunched, sitting there among these sort of among the sort of racks of test tubes, and between these big sort of cabinets, just sort of sitting there, breathing in and out. You have a shot. And you can tell as you look at this shot that the test tubes and the little cabinets are miniatures that someone has built. And in the middle of all of that, they have sat a desert-horned toad. And this is where we are going to go to commercial.
How large is this desert horned toad?
It's about, if the model were to scale, which it is not completely, then it would be about the size of a, it takes up the middle of the room, basically. It's a good 6 feet across.
Oh, wow.
5 or 6 feet across. Comes up, still does comes up to just above, a person, right about a person's chest. As it just sort of sitting there, just kind of, its eyes closed, breathing in and out. And I shall display the picture of the toad, and link to the image of the toad for those who wish to see the toad. This is an Amargosa toad, desert toad, and we go to commercial. So we will be back shortly. As we let's see, did I put a new interview video in here? I did. Excellent. We're going to do I'm going to run an interview while we're at break. When we come back, we may have a commercial. We'll see you soon. Welcome to the break. I have with me Pope, with whom we shall be discussing one of our favorite games, Urban Shadows. Hello, how's it going?
Going well. Always good to be talking Urban Shadows.
Yes. So as folks may or may not be aware, I am hopelessly addicted to the game Urban Shadows. And we had a campaign of it that was meant to be a short campaign and ended up being a longer campaign on the channel. And I'll probably be running it again at some point in the future. What is your interaction with Urban Shadows?
Viewer of many a game, and have played it in person a number of times, and with actual play experience, doing that one story that we both shared in over on Tales from the Grim. So that is my Urban Shadows experience. I absolutely adore the system. I adore what it can do and what it lets you do.
That was so good. Before I start reminiscing, though, I'm going to briefly mention, for those who may not be familiar, that Urban Shadows, it's an urban fantasy game, essentially, that is powered by the Apocalypse. It uses the Apocalypse engine. And it is about the intersection of all manner of different supernatural communities with each other, and is very much sort of based in many ways on noir fiction, because that's one of the foundations of urban fantasy. So that works out. So that works out pretty well. It makes for some very interesting stories. There's a web of debt that connects the characters, and it's very cool in that respect. So I guess what shall we start with? What tell us of something you have participated in that you enjoyed.
Well, I'll go to the tape, as it were, with Tales from the Grim. You can still find us up there on YouTube.
Oh yes.
But as you have experienced playing the veteran playbook.
Oh yes.
And having the
Yes.
joy of getting into trouble. One of the things that Powered by Apocalypse Games does as a conceit, and it's a conceit I adore, is failing forward. And being okay with failure as a story opportunity. This is not something that a lot of other game systems do or encourage. Like, there's so many systems where it's just pass fail, and if you fail, story doesn't progress, or you have to build a new character. It doesn't encourage you to have those what can be important character and dramatic moments, not just for you personally as a player, but for the whole of the table. And in that game, with those few appearances, I had one of my favorite character deaths of all time. Not only did that death become something beautiful, it affected the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
hats
Knocked over
off
so
to
many
Lauren,
dominoes. Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
for taking the ball and running with it. And hats off to that entire crew for the story that they were able to weave with it all.
Yeah. Lauren was a great GM. Yeah.
Yes. And though it lets you have those moments. And with certain playbooks, High Immortal, one of my favorites, it's so shiny. Having death be not the end, but a further complication. That is a beautiful thing. Having end moves is a beautiful thing.
And that is interesting. An interesting thing also about that game is that your character can end in a couple of different ways, because you have these two different progress tracks. One of which involves, how much networking do you do, and then you can advance normally that way, as you do in a lot of PBTA games, where you can buy another advancement, another thing that you get to do, or you have the corruption track, which gives us a nice downward spiral that you can get these delightful powers that you can add on to your character until you become a problem for everyone else, basically, with so many of those playbooks.
And the corruption powers are proper in that they're so shiny. They are so terribly shiny. They're potent. So you want them. So that corrupting factor is ever present. And the more you use them or abuse them, you're just going to burn that candle at both ends. And it's a beautiful thing. And it is mechanics that are reinforcing play, which there are so many games out there that they're only reinforcing an element of play. One of the reasons why I love Urban Shadows is the mechanics reinforce all elements of play and is explicit about the story that you get to tell with each of these playbooks. Like, you can twist and turn things and make a story your own, but you have the big themes are immediately expressed in those playbooks. So you know what you're getting into. You know the stories that you're going to be able to tell. And that is something that Urban Shadows does incredibly good, even with having the leg up of being a PBTA game.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, having as you mentioned, we have both played veterans, both of which died at the end of a season, basically at the end of a story arc in the campaign, and then affected the campaign onwards. And so, but that death is one that isn't so much. I mean, it's in part mechanically built in, but for the most part, it just sort of happens. But it is it is neat to see just those arcs just over everything. And have you had the opportunity to be in any other campaigns or one shots that you'd like to talk about?
I have done a few one shots where, again, the veteran playbook sings its siren song for a number of those, as a lot of folks want to experience some of the more monstrous play. And so I always feel like there needs to be at least one mortal at the table. And I got this gray legitimately, so I might as well use it. And yeah, no, I am all about that playbook, but I will say, I have gotten chances to play a dragon, and that is so much fun. It just is. But things that I would love to get a chance to, again, that immortal playbook is like someday. As well as like, I think it would be interesting to play a ghost. Like that is a very interesting thing with how the different factions are. The Knight faction, yeah, we've got the werewolves and the vampires, but the ghosts don't get as much play as it seems.
Yeah.
And establishing, okay, what is the ghostly world of this city? You have died, and now you are a part of not just the city as you remembered it, but and not just these other groups that you now find yourself in community with, but the specific ghostly community and what that's like. And like, who are the power players? What are their habits? How close to them being resolved, or how far away from ever being resolved are they? Like that's an amazing question, and it pulls on those social strings that Urban Shadows gives you so well, where you're going, I want to know about this community. I want to know about the werewolves. I want to know, do the vampires have a quote, or is it just like a very small, tight-knit community? Like how, and the thing is, depending on your game and your players, it can expand and contract, as we saw with Lex Talonus. Like,
oh yes,
you have that push and pull, and much so than a lot of other systems. It allows you to have those waxes and wanes as part of the story.
And something that I really like about Urban Shadows, there are a couple of things that it shares with other games that I really enjoy. One of which is the downward spiral that it creates in the rules that we spoke about. Delightful. But then also just the fact that it has mechanisms for adding onto the story. To expand the lore at points during the campaign, because it's, you've got moves where you can just like, okay, I'd like to seek someone out. Okay, we got to create a person that to help me with this, because you have these factions factions or circles depending on which edition you're playing, that each cover different things, and you got these different these different boxes you got to check to be able to advance, to be able to actually progress. And so if you want to meet with, so it's like, okay, I need a mortal who does this, and so you generate the character pretty much right then and there. Also, depending on how you're playing it, the generation of rumors baked in, I think, more in first edition than in second. But also, it is in second. It is in second. It's just that's more on the MC's side. But it is neat seeing just sort of the lore just sort of increase, and the depth of the whole thing happen.
In the circles, the factions themselves are just an opportunity for everyone at the table to tell a story and to have that moment of not everyone has to be quiet at the table. Once okay, I'm going to find someone. One of the things they can do as an ST is just look at one of the other players and go, tell me, what do they look like? Look at another one. What's their name? Look at another one. What's a rumor? And be able to shotgun out a character amongst the entire table in this moment before you bring them to the fore. If you're creating off the top of your head, popcorning that way around the table gives everybody a chance to have that ownership. You can also do stuff in session zeros, and this is one of the beautiful things about these games, about Urban Shadows, is it really wants you to sit down with everybody and not just figure out who these characters are, but the relationships and the relationships with the city and the people there. So you have all this collaborative world building that's already going on. So you're pre-primed when you get to the table to continue doing them. And that makes the game fun for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I highly recommend this game to folks who haven't seen it and who are into urban fantasy or horror, to sort of check it out and see what they think. Pope, thank you so much for coming and chatting. Where can folks find you?
Pope World Build on the Twitter. You can find me there. I'll regularly announce wherever my silly face pops up next. And yeah, give a shout out for something adjacent to our urban fantasy with Brinkwood, the Blood of Tyrants over on Balrog 1911. You can go and seek that out on the YouTubes. And there are tons of really great games using urban shadows like the one on this channel. Go and seek out Lex Talonis. You will not regret it.
Thank you so much. Well, folks, I'm now going to toss things over to my future self. In the meantime, take care, and we will see you all of a sudden. we have returned, and we have a commercial before we jump back in, and it will be Desmond will be doing the commercial, and we had your choices were Olympian Insurance, Imperial Dishwashers, The Weekly Murmur, or Tranquility Airlines. Which sponsor did you choose?
If we could just jump right in, we have the shot of the toad, and then the fade to black. Social consideration provided by, and then the logo of the Weekly Murmur, and then it fades into like late teens, early 20s women sitting at the bench. Oh my God! Did you hear about Shawn Mendes and Florence Pugh? Oh my God! What? And then we hear, "Now that, my dear ladies, is old news." And then it pans over to an older Desmond Thurgood. Now, he probably is like his 70s at this point. Now, you see, the Daily Murmur keeps up on all celebrity gossip, only the hottest for subscribers of the Weekly Murmur. And then he'll sit down on this park bench. As a former star myself, then we had lower third, Desmond Thurgood, Ninth Colossal Desert Creatures, Ninth Colossal Desert Creatures 5. The Weekly Murmur keeps up on only the most current celebrities and most current, up-to-date, and absolutely, definitely truest gossip. And then the young women in the most acting. Oh my goodness, thank you, Mr. Thurgood. Yes. Now, if you excuse me, he flips open, then it's a full tableau of an issue of the Daily Murmur.
Nice, very classy, very classy. Excellent.
You.
And so go ahead, if you would, and make a looks roll for me.
That is a 70. That does not succeed.
Okay, so the commercial. This show is the late show is on very late. You know, you're not going to get a lot of folks seeing this, but you do get one additional fame point, so you can add one fame point to your total.
Wonderful.
And alas, with the Weekly Murmur will probably not be continuing sponsorships for this show, but you know, you get what you can get.
Yeah.
Excellent. But now we return to our program as we're going to see. Now we've had we are in the lab. We're in the lab, and we've seen that Dr. Sirius. We will see him noting that Desmond and Abby are not in the room. Laura is there with you, looking suitably shocked at what you said a moment ago. But you see that they have ventured further in.
Laura, you've worked with Dr. Gilbert. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, never. This was long before my time.
Right. Let's go see where the others are. I don't think this bodes well.
Oh. So they show you coming around the corner, and we cut back to a two-shot of Desmond and Abby. They're sort of framed in the entrance to this lab, and we have another shot of the giant toad, and we have a shot just beyond the giant toad on a shelf. There is what looks like a a set. It's a very neatly stacked looking set of scientific logbooks that they focus on for a moment.
Ah.
So, Abby, Sascha cries out, and just out of curiosity, it's fine if you don't, but I'm just curious. Do you have the screaming talent?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Okay, no worries. But they show the toad sort of stirring. It's like, and as they just show the two of you shocked, they will show Dr. Sirius and Laura coming around the corner behind the two of you, and the director tells you see a giant toad. None of the actors are looking at a giant toad right now. I need to make this clear. You're all looking at nothing off screen, but you're cutting it in to show a giant toad. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Gilbert has this very shocked expression. Will silently and very erratically just do not, and will make a safe motion with his hands. Move very quietly.
Okay. Is these one of the animals that Dr. S told us about?
Yes, I can only assume so. Must have been caught up in one experiment or the other.
Yeah. On the miniature, there are some what they made, these little miniature opened cages on one of the other shelves.
Must be one of the animals who are doing the experiment song.
Experiment song?
Yes, a lot of the tests they were performing here, they mainly used. Unfortunately, they did use animals as a facet of the experiments.
Well, how does that song go?
I was only an assistant at the time, so I wasn't given terribly high amounts of information on these experiments. But look, there. I would get the exact same shot of the logbooks. Perhaps those may find some more information on these experiments.
Well, you go look at those experiments. I'm staying here.
Dr. Gilbert will move around and towards the exercise equipment, slowly pull a fencing foil from the rack, move towards where the shelf is.
So you went back and you grabbed a fencing foil and
Yeah.
Okay, you got a sword now. It's basically sort of moving slowly around, and yeah. So, out of curiosity, does your do you have the stealth talent?
Let's see. I do not.
Excellent. So. I think what we'll have happen then, I'm going to ask you to make a dexterity test here, real quick.
Alrighty.
I'd like to read it like tea leaves.
Excellent. Dexterity.
I can tell you that regardless of the result of this, the toad is going to wake up. It looks like... Okay, it looks like I may have not programmed that one right.
Let's see. 100 less than... Let's see, my dex is 19. I do this right? I appear to not have. I'm just gonna roll the physical polyhedrons.
Just do that. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Ooh, that's not great. That is a 68, which
Excellent,
is
okay.
significantly higher.
So, you head over, and as you are pulling the logbooks from the wall, you pick them up. You hear like, and they tell you that they show a shot of the toad starting to move as it's around this little model that they very carefully don't show the shot of the logbooks because you're on a separate. The toad is in a miniature set. But it's starting to move and its eyes are opening. What would you all like to do?
All right, so I just maybe Laura and I are here at the entrance now of this room, and so Dr. Gilbert's further in.
Yep.
To the logs. Spread out. We have to surround it to confuse it.
I don't think so. Why would I spread out?
No, you stay there, Laura, to the other side of that of the room.
Okay.
Wait, is it safe for a lady to do that? I mean, I'm a lady, but I don't think she's the type of lady to do that.
We're gonna need everyone for this to work.
Wait, Laura, just stay here. I'm gonna run.
Okay.
You're running.
You're gonna
I'm gonna try to run. I know this might not work.
you're gonna run out of the room?
Not run, but like, and I think I'm gonna run further into the room.
Oh, okay.
Cause I think
You-
Dr. S said confuse it, so run. Yeah. I thought they meant like run into the room.
Okay,
so,
just kind of confuse the toad.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. The toad confusion skill. You could use animal husbandry for this if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Either animal training or animal husbandry.
Okay. I have to get below probably a 25 because my husbandry is a 25. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a 25 or less.
Okay.
So 1 in 4 shot.
I absolutely failed and got a 99.
Excellent. Oh, great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the good news is, Dr. Gilbert, you're able to get back out and around since Abby has now focused the toad on... Tasha has focused the toad entirely on her. You're able to get around, but now the toad is like... You hear this sort of... There's this... So they play the sound of a loud, slowed down, just in a lower register sound of a toad croaking. So there's this big... And let me look at the toad stats. Let's see. Oh dear. Okay. So you can see that it is like It doesn't have room to maneuver in here very much, but it looks like it's going to try to swat out at you. But what would you like to do? You get to do an action first.
Okay. So I think I have like rope, and maybe
You do.
could I potentially try to like wrangle it from the floor? I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how
Well,
I can't
yeah.
wrangle it. Okay. I think I can like if I stand up and try to like get a hold of it from like lasso
Yeah.
and wrap around. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there are a couple of different skills I could see being useful here. Animal husbandry, possibly, because this is something you do as part of that. If you have throwing, you could use throwing.
I have throwing. I have a 27 in throwing.
Okay, I'd go with throwing then for this one.
Okay. Let's see if I fail or not. I got a 76. Yep.
Okay, so you're not. So you will not necessarily fail at doing this, but the toad is going to get to act before you
Okay.
are finished. Just depending, but also again in this same frame, Desmond and Michael both get to act as well. It's remember because the actors go first. So what are the two of you doing?
If these could be considered part of the same action, Desmond will toss the logbooks to either Dr. Sirius or Laura, if whichever is preferable, and then we'll just draw his fencing foil in a weirdly practiced pose to try and jab at the frog.
Okay. Are you trying to? Well, let's see what happens. So go ahead and make a yes. You toss off the logbook. Go ahead and make your sword roll.
Roll sword. Let's see. Combat. That is a 66, which is closer than you would think.
What's your sword skill?
52.
52. Okay. All right. So you do not take off any survival points from the toad. The toad is now becoming agitated. It's like and is now like trying to decide which one of you to swipe at. Dr. Sirius, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna take out my flashlight and shine it at the eye
Ooh,
to blind it.
that's very good. That's very good. I'm gonna have you. Let's see. What shall I have you do? I think we're just gonna go with straight dex on this. And you're going to get a 20 point bonus to this roll.
Oh, cool.
So you get to subtract 20 from your roll, basically.
Oh, well, I'll just add it to my dex. Is that?
Yeah, you just temporarily add it to your dex.
I made it.
Okay. So, as you're doing this, the toad is like, you're like, because apparently, according to the script, this is this type of toad is a night creature, and so the light is very distracting to it. It's nocturnal, this toad. So that means that it's now very much off balance, which means that it is not going to be very successful, or not as successful, but it's still going to get a swipe at you folks. Laura goes next. Laura is going to, I'm going to presume, was tossed the logbook, and so Laura is going to dash out of the room unless someone wants her to hang around and do something. Okay.
Oh, Laura. Go!
She runs. I am now going to make an FX road, an FX roll for the toad as it swipes out with its tongue. Its FX skill is 55. I got a 1. So Desmond, and actually I'm adding 20 to that because of the. That's right. It had a penalty, so it's actually a 21, but that still makes it. Desmond. So we have a shot of a toad. And what we have are a lot of intense close-ups of a real toad. Between you, not in the same frame as a toad, and we see a lash out with its tongue, and then a very large prop tongue made of probably made of cloth and styrofoam lashes out and is meant to be and now you have to behave like the tongue is wrapping around you. Here you go. Yeah, have to go ahead and make sure you get it around you there. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay. Should I tie it?
Only if you see if you can keep it on. It needs to be more authentic.
Okay.
The toad's tongue should not be wrapped up in that fashion. So just hold it there as best you can with your other arm.
Okay. I think I got this. Okay. Feels natural. Feels natural.
All right. We good? Places. Action. All right. So the toad has got you grappled, as it were. I didn't say it. I should have said it. There was an opportunity before the toad moved, and I didn't say it. But if folks wanted to sub out with their stunt double,
I will not.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure we're good there. So that was the toad. That was the toad's roll. The toad is not. Let's see. Oh yes, no, that would kill someone. So yes, no, the toad is just is wrapped its tongue around you at this point, and it's got you grappled. And so we now move to the next frame. What would everyone like to do?
Dr. Gilbert will just kind of twist the foil around and stab at the tongue in order to free himself.
Excellent. So please make a sword roll.
All right, that's a 70.
Excellent. So, as you stab at this toad, it is going to let you go, but it doesn't look terribly convincing as you stab at the toad.
Yeah, but you just drop the tongue, basically.
Yeah, the tongue. Yeah, you drop the tongue, and essentially the toad is now. It shows the you have the opportunity to back off.
Mm-hmm.
And when the toad acts next, there will be consequences, though, for things. What are the rest of you doing?
Well, I want to try to back up out of the room to get further away from this creature.
All right, so you are moving out of the room. What is Michael doing?
Oh, I'm gonna open my medical bag and take out a syringe, and I'm gonna run at the toad and stab it to knock it out.
Oh my God! Okay.
I don't know. That would be combat, I guess, right?
Yeah. So let me take a look here. Syringe. This would be basically it's like an improvised weapon. So we can call that. Well, actually, You can use medicine for this if you like.
Yes, I do.
It's a syringe.
do
I
want
feel
to. Yes.
that's not a terrible idea.
All right.
Okay. So even
No.
if we give you a bonus, that's not quite a success. So what happens is
Nope.
you lunge forward with your syringe, and you see that it stabs, but you lose the syringe when you do. It's the toad is jostling around and it shows you what it shows is you planting the syringe into this big thing, this big rubber prop, essentially that's moving around. It's supposed to be the side of the toad, and it pulls it out. It pulls the syringe out of your hand. Is you're supposed to act like the syringe is getting pulled out of your hand, and then it Laura is in the wind. Before the monster moves, does anyone want to switch out for their stunt double?
I would.
All right.
Have you taken damage, Levi?
I haven't taken.
No one's taken damage yet.
Okay. Mm, no, not yet.
Okay. This toad is severely upset. Now, it's enraged. It is somewhat confined because there was a little bit of rope that was laid in that it was having a little trouble moving around with, and it's been stabbed at, and it's been woken up. It's cranky, and it's just been stabbed again with a syringe, and so now we have a shot of the toad. Of the toad on the miniature set leaping up and knocking over one of the counters that shouldn't be able to be knocked over, and it's going to lash out one more time toward Dr. Gilbert, who is closest. It gets a 27. Let's see, plus. I want to say. No, the maximum I can add to it is 20. So plus 20 is a 47, but that is still within its effects roll. As it lunges forward, and on top of Dr. Gilbert, crushing.
Oh, no.
But Dr. Gilbert is okay, but your stunt double has just been crushed. Well, how many survival points do you have?
46.
Okay, so I have to tell you,
Oh.
the damage the toad does when it stomps on something, which it has leapt onto someone, is 150.
Wow. Wow.
So your so what happens is Rick Harrington, your stunt double, kind of as is sort of is coming and tries to has his face turned away from the camera, as he's got the wig on and everything, and as this toad leaps, it doesn't actually. There's this moment when when it's like he stumbles down, and this big rubber thing just falls on him, and Casper calls, cut, hold on there, get him out of there, if you would, and we have the crew members come in, and they try, get this big rubber toad off of Rick, and Rick is Rick apparently stumbled and knocked himself into one of the cabinets, and he is not doing well. He's bleeding from the side of his head, He's barely conscious. He's conscious. He's like, he sort of looks up and he's like, "Did I do a good job? Did I do a good job?"
You did great, Richard.
Great, that's good. Oh, there's 3 of you, and Casper's like, "All right, everyone, hold on. Yeah, we're going to take 10 while we get Rick out of here." And so so Casper calls a break, and the two a couple more members of the crew help Rick up and are moving him over to the medical unit from which he is going to be transported out to seek treatment. He is no longer, unfortunately, on this picture after that. And the 2 PAs who operate the toad are standing there looking horrified.
Oh, he'll be fine. Then we'll turn to Evelyn. Evelyn, Laura's actor, shakes his head.
Yeah, Evelyn's like just sort of like, she sort of shrugs, and she's like, I am never going into. She's sort of shaking her head, lights up a cigarette. I am never going into stunt work.
It's dreadful. Even fight coordination, it's quite the ordeal. It was actually several productions of Peter Pan, and then we just have to get back to the film.
So we're going to come back to the film, and what we see happening is as we cut back, we're going to see that we see Dr. Gilbert sort of dragging himself away. The Casper says, "All right, you need to drag yourself away and up to the hallway so you can all escape. Please make with the escaping now."
Dr. Gilbert drags himself from under the toad. It's like, get out of here. And then we'll get up and start attempting to run.
As a parting shot, I just like pick up a chair and throw it at the toad to distract it, and I help Dr. Gilbert and we run out.
Dr. Gilbert, I'm sorry that the toad hurt you so.
It's simply an occupational hazard.
I
You see
did say. I did say.
I was going to say we see a tiny miniature chair just sort of bonk off one of the little miniature areas next to the toad. Sorry, go ahead.
I did say that the government is not a good place. And look what happened. This is so disheartening.
It's quite dangerous line of work. You know, one of my co-workers, he actually nearly killed himself on the cabinet alone.
And not to mention your shelves. My goodness.
Yes.
Wait.
Jim checks the time. Casper tells you need to grab a quick sample of the liquid before you on your way out.
Oh yes, I almost forgot what I was going to try to tell you. That there is a large canister with green, dangerous-looking liquid. I think it's seeped out of the facility.
Oh dear goodness. Well, we have to go through the. So yeah. Dr. Gilbert will like run back around the toad to where the.
Oh yeah, you don't have to pass the toad to get to the.
Okay.
To get to the storage area where the barrels were.
Okay.
If that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So He'll just point to the very obviously leaking barrel, like this.
Yes.
Yes. And then in Dr. Gilbert's box of samples, he'll just like pop that open and get like an empty test tube. Yes, yes. This will be perfect.
It sounds a little creepy. I thought you said that the government wasn't bad. It seems like you're doing bad stuff.
Oh. Well, I never did mention my personal projects.
I see why the government did what it did. I hope you get some help, Dr. Gilbert.
Oh yes, this will be very helpful indeed.
Do you recognize what it is, Doctor?
Do I?
You're going to need to take it back to the lab to analyze it.
Yes. Not just by sight, no. I'll have to take it back to the lab.
I hope your lab bird doesn't cause harm to any of the animals or any of the people of this town.
Yes. People of this town shall be quite safe.
I don't like that.
We're gonna do a fade, a crossfade, as we have a brief shot of the four of you departing the burned out nuclear facility, getting on your respective horse and car, and quickly just riding and driving back to the town. Night has fallen, or is just falling now. We see the glow of the sun going away from the sky. There's a brief, again, stock footage of the canyon, and as it focuses on the canyon, we hear from within the canyon this roaring sound, this low roar, this. And we're going to cut back to Dr. Gilbert's lab. And you have a little time has passed, and you've been informed. So okay, so this is very important. This is the scene where you are finding the solution that is going to return any animals to their regular size. This is a very important scene because it is this moment of eureka that you're going to have. You must be excited. Do you understand?
Yes, of course, Casper. I can comprehend the emotion of excitement. Thank you.
All right, very good. This is important. We must see your inner turmoil. And he turns. He's going to call action.
We see various backlit test tubes and a very elaborate series of contraptions that do not make sense if you think about it hard enough. And that same polygraph readouts. Eureka! With the right amount of work, if I finish this equation properly, then I will be able to find a solution that will bring these colossal desert creatures back to their normal size.
That's excellent. Can I assist you?
I would welcome it, Doctor.
Please call me medical doctor.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, amazing. Now over here, it was ushered to various equipment.
All right, so you set to work, and I can't wait to see what kind of solution this is, because we'll see. I don't know if they have to. It's going to be aerosolized, or they have to drink it, or something else is going to happen. It could be anything. Or if it's just some sort of weird harmonic thing. I don't know yet. We'll find out in a moment. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a cut over to, we're going to see Tasha, who has wandered out of the lab while they've been working on all of this. And you're out near the outskirts of town anyway.
Okay.
And we're going to see something. What shall we see? Let me, I need to look at my notes real quick because I have some locations. Yes. So, yes, this will be perfect. You're out. You're looking around, and you see on the edge of town. You see about a good half dozen of Emerson's cattle run past at a distance. They're not like right next to you, but you see them like they're running from something. And they're free and they're running from something.
Emerson! These poor cattle. Something must have frightened them. I hope, it's probably Anderson himself.
Oh, you can see, they have a shot of you and the road and looking down, and according to the script, what you're looking at is that a little bit of a ways down, there's a gas station.
What could that possibly be? A gas station? The cattle can't be scared of anything there. I mean, unless a car bothered them, but that doesn't make much sense.
I have an important question for you.
Yes.
Do you want to investigate?
With such a big heart, yes, I do.
Okay. Well then. So, and I assume you're still riding Buttercup, is that right?
Definitely.
Okay. So, as you ride over, it's in a slightly different direction. You have to cross some railroad tracks. And it's pretty dark at this point. But in this area, there's not a lot of light as you're crossing the tracks necessarily. But as you get out to where the gas station is, you see that the other side of the gas station has been smashed in. Like half of the building has been smashed in. There is what looks like an overturned truck that looks like it belongs to Emerson, and there was a cattle car on it, a couple of cattle cars out there, and those are open and empty.
Well, something big must have did this. Emerson? Emerson.
You hear from just beyond the vehicle. You hear.
I guess he's still alive. Emerson, I'm coming to get you. And
It doesn't sound ominous at all. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to walk over and see if he has any broken bones or anything.
Oh, yes. As you go around, you will see that he has been bleeding out. And he's sort of lying there crushed under his under the side of his truck. And he barely just sort of gasps out. As you can see, it looks like I say he's bleeding out. So fake blood is being pumped from around near the neck, and you can see his face and neck are covered in fake blood. And you can see this older man, ball cap, and he just sort of reaches his hand up as he sees you, recognize you. Brown. It's Brown. It was a lizard. Lizard.
A lizard?
And this actor playing Emerson, Eddie pretends to die for like at least half a minute longer than he needs to.
I mean, I wanted to see his dying breath, but not like this. A lizard? Wait, did a lizard do this? Why is a lizard so big? Wait. I don't see a lizard. I don't want to be here no more.
And as you turn back around, heading back the other direction, the moon comes out from behind the clouds, and you see in the distance, you can now more clearly see, over by the railroad tracks, this water tower. And atop the water tower, crouched, breathing heavily, and by which I mean a small model of the water tower, you see, crouched there, clinging around this model of the water tower, a shot of a very large western banded gecko.
What have you been eating?
And I think that would be a good spot if, and at that point, I think the TV show will go to commercial. And my question is, does anyone else wish to have their actor do a commercial? You don't have to, but if you would like to, it's available.
I think I'll do it. I think it'll be funny for me to just.
You have, you can choose from Olympian Insurance, Imperial Dishwashers, or Tranquility Airlines.
I think I'm going to do Imperial Dishwasher.
Excellent,
Right.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need a minute, or do you want to just go ahead?
I think I kind of wrote it during the previous commercial break.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm going to say.
What do we see?
And okay, so you see Abby's face, and she says her one-liner, and she says, "Yeah," and then it fades into her face into the commercial, which is iconic, so fun, so great. Wow. Then she starts off by saying, "Howdy, my name is Abby. You may not know me, and that's mighty fine. I'm here to tell you about this new technology. They got it working up at Imperial. Supposedly, you can just put your dishes in there and they clean themselves. A mighty, mighty, mighty fine invention. This is a marvel. And it beats hand washing those dirty dishes. Mom always made me wash dirty dishes as punishment. And now, since I have my Imperial dishwasher, I will no longer have to do this by hand. Get yours today or tomorrow, whenever you get on your saddle. I've been Abby, I think. No, I've been Abby, yes. And this has been Imperial Dishwashing. And
My
she
God. Sorry, go ahead.
She just smiles at the camera with a thumbs up. And she has like her little cowgirl hat on.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Go ahead if you would, and make a looks roll for me.
Okay. I have to get, I think, lower than 22. So let's hope. I got an 80. Yep, 80. That wasn't gonna make it.
So that that commercial did not do terribly well. They were trying to, it was perhaps not well thought out in the way that they put it together, because they were trying to just sort of bank, they were trying to cash in on your success from Night of the Colossal Desert Creatures, or any other roles in which you might have played the sort of cowboy types or what have you. And unfortunately, they didn't, again, the placement of the commercial late at night didn't really do it any favors. And so I think in the sort of test groups, it sort of confused people, but they played the commercial anyway. So you don't get anything additional, but you do get one additional fame point. Okay. So you get to add a fame point to your total. And now we shall return once again to the movie as we come into our third act. I think we're going to see that we're going to see that we are over at we're going to cut back to the lab. And we're going to see that a solution is being reached, but in order for a solution to be reached, I'm going to need a roll to be made. And that roll is going to be a roll of nuclear physics.
Alrighty. Let's see.
Does he get a bonus because I was trying to help him?
Yeah. Go ahead and add 10% to your nuclear physics right now while you're doing it.
Excellent. So a 60 or lower. Alrighty, that is a 9.
Okay. You have come up with a fairly convenient solution. It will still involve it's going to involve someone having to be in the same scene as a colossal desert as some colossal desert creatures, but it's something that perhaps will act quickly, which is good. So good. What do we have? What do we see?
I think it's very. I think for budgetary concerns, it is in fact aerosolized. Just like as long as there's a consistent spray against a creature, then it. I think we see like boxes of of garden hoses. Well, how convenient that that this was actually the old botany department. And starts unfurling these garden hoses to a very large tank.
Excellent. And at this point, Casper reminds you, and Anita tells him what it's going to do.
Ah, yes. Now, with constant and consistent exposure to one of these colossal desert creatures, these will demetabolize their proteins, slowly reducing the size of their cells back down to the typical size that their DNA commands their cells to be.
Excellent.
Terrible. Thank you, medical doctor. I couldn't have done without you.
And don't forget Laura. She was instrumental too.
Oh, yes. Fantastic.
Oh my god. And at this point, I think Laura will be coming back and she says, "Wait, where's Tasha?"
Was she not? Then, looked off camera. Oh, no.
He was just here a few hours ago.
A few hours ago?
Okay, well, we're gonna cut back to Tasha. And, so you're looking up at this giant gecko. And, I actually will go ahead and, I'm gonna show the players and, then post a link for, what this is this particular type of gecko that we have here. The western banded gecko. This is like the one thing as they were putting the script together that was done is someone did research on the desert creatures a little bit. So you see this brown gecko that is here atop the water tower. It's actually a normal sized gecko on top of a small model of a water tower, but they want you to behave as though it's a giant gecko. This western banded gecko, this tan and brown, light tan, yellowish tan and brown gecko. What would you like to do?
Is it a distance away from me, this gecko, or
Yeah, it's not right next to you. It's yeah. It's just sort of it's next to where the road crosses the railroad tracks.
So could I potentially get on my horse and ride back?
You can potentially, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna move. I don't want to move too fast because I don't want the gecko to be alert of my presence, but I want to move to Buttercup and see if I can ride off to Dr. Gilbert's lab.
Okay. I need you to make a ride roll, please. A riding roll.
Yes, a 2.
A 2. Okay, excellent.
Yes.
So there's this tense scene for a moment. It shows close up of you, just like it shows as you're going past, as you're riding past. It shows close up of you. So actually, it's a sort of a 3-button shot of you, and then a shot of the gecko on the tower, and then it says a close up on your face, and then it shows a close up of the gecko, like the head and shoulders of the gecko, and then it shows a close up of your eyes. And then it does a close-up on one eye of the gecko as it's sort of looking in another direction. And you're able to ride past
Great.
And then we're going to cut over as we see as just sort of you hear, though distantly from behind you, not in exactly the same direction, but you hear more just sort of this noise, this some kind of noise of something that is actually meant to sound like a number of very large lizards, from a great distance away. But you're going to make it to the town.
Great.
Or rather, you're going to make it to the edge of the town where the lab is. And you're going to see Laura standing outside, looking around, looking back and forth, and she sees you. And she says, "Oh, thank goodness."
Laura. You wouldn't believe it. Once again, I saw a huge, colossal size, just like the grasshopper that I previously saw. Look, I saw a gecko.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. Look, it has these brown and yellow spots, and it's supposedly, it has this, it's on the water tower that we have. It's on that.
What? His water tower, yes, she says, prompting the line.
Oh, and I heard this loud sound. It sounds guttural, I don't know.
Oh no, there might be more of them.
More? I mean, yeah, more.
And she turns and is running back in to tell the doctors. And who have been, I guess, sitting stunned, preparing things. What does it look? What do we see when we head back into the lab?
There are a handful of garden hoses being hooked up to this large tank with a deep green liquid that's being held over a boiler, just kind of bubbling scientifically. And several spouts, not actually connected, are being connected to the garden hoses.
Excellent. And as the two of you are there, Laura bursts back into the lab. Sasha's come back and she's seen a giant gecko.
A gecko, you say?
And there may be more of them.
More of them, you say?
Yes, more of them.
We're going to need a bigger hose. and then there's like this pain behind the actor's eyes.
So there's a moment as we cut away that we're going to see this little scene on the edge of town that takes place as yes, we see on this big sort of this expanse of desert for a moment, beyond where the lab is, further beyond the edge of town, there is a drive-in theater. Drive-in movie theater. It is projecting something they have the rights to on the screen. And we have this shot. We have these a number of cars that are lined up in front of this old black and white movie is being projected on the screen. And we see an extra just sort of walking out Just having pretended to have an argument with his girlfriend, and he's standing out away from the screen, away from the desert. You sort of look and you see these hills, these desert hills. It scans the hills, doesn't see anything. And he hears distantly this. And then we see moving. We see this shot of a couple of streets away. There are a couple of little buildings out here. There's a concession stand near the edge. There's some telephone poles. And we see these now in miniature as about, like, we see these 4 geckos come lumbering forward. One of them sort of gets off to the side and has to be pushed back into camera. There's this little miniature set, and it's been slowed down to give the impression that they are huge. We see these geckos moving past. One of them smacks into the miniature telephone pole and knocks it over. And it goes crashing down, and a sound effect is added in of it hitting the ground in slow motion. And it shows one of them clambering up onto the concession stand. There's another shot from underneath showing the geckos leaping over this small ridge, and in slow motion, camera's very close to them, made to look huge against the dark night sky. As these geckos are storming into the drive-in, this teenager who is, or this older actor playing a teenager who is standing on the edge of the drive-in, screams and turns and begins running, and a giant foam hand made to look like a gecko's hand comes down on him. And then there's a miniature from sort of a distance of a gecko stomping over that area on the edge towards these miniature cars. As it shows him, then it cuts back to him lying there with fake blood on him, acting dead. We see them getting in front of the projection, and we see little shadow puppets of geckos on the movie screen. We hear screaming. We hear cars starting up and lights turning on, and some of the geckos, it shows as the car's lights turn on, it shows them stumbling back a little bit because they are nocturnal creatures. And people trying to escape, running, screaming, terror. One of the geckos starts climbing up onto the movie screen because it can. This small model of a movie screen, this gecko starts clambering up and over. And we're going to cut back to the town. We're going to cut back to the lab as you've all finished up and you're heading out the door with your equipment. What does this equipment look like? Again, you've got a bunch of hoses attached to something. Is it just like a big thing that you strap on your back, or what does this look like?
I think it looks like those huge tanks of water that you would find on certain work vehicles, just that on a huge wagon.
Okay.
And that was like several garden hoses attached to the ends.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so it's on a wagon that I guess is attached to a vehicle of some kind.
Yeah, presumably on the car.
Okay, like another car. So you've on a trailer behind this car. You're securing it as you're all standing outside, and you hear the honking of horns, and you see cars rolling past, and you hear people screaming and yelling as they're coming from the direction of the drive-in. What would you all like to do?
That can't be good.
No.
Then Dr. Gilbert will look out towards where people were running from, start fastening it faster.
You see, there's a brief shot again of the little model drive-in and geckos, just sort of these 4 geckos clambering all over it.
Well, Dr. Gilbert, you said you didn't want to cause harm to any of these people in this town. So I hope your technology or your scientific discovery will help save this town, because we are in dire need of a miracle.
I'm no miracle worker. No, sorry. I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
cut. We'll do that again. Yeah, one more.
Professional, I swear.
And we're running out. We only have so many hours of night left. Please, we must make this work. Please. Action.
I'm no miracle worker. Then he'll step on. What's his pickup? Stand onto it. Garden nozzles akimbo. Oh, the physicist.
Okay, Dr. Physicist.
That's science, Dr. Physicist, to you. Physicist Gilbert. Then he'll. His part of the plan is just standing as he sprays these at the creatures.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, so Gilbert is in the bed of the truck, and someone else is, or the bed of the vehicle, and someone else is driving the vehicle toward the geckos. Is that what's happening?
Unless anybody has a better idea.
Sure. Yeah, I can drive, and Laura can be with me, cab.
Sure, she can be with you if you like.
And
What's,
I don't know, is Buttercup here?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yes.
Let's.
Buttercup will always be with me. We have a special connection.
What is Tasha doing?
Well, Tasha is just along for the ride and is trying to wrangle any human being that she sees in her vicinity not moving away from the disruption in this town right now. She's gonna shout to go the other way. Her purpose is to get people away.
Awesome. So you are you're wrangling some folks. Let's see. I think this really can be down to. Let me see. I think this could work as a looks roll, honestly.
I do have persuasion. I don't know.
You do have persuasion. Better. Okay, yeah, go with persuasion.
I am gonna see if I make this. Great people of this town, I hope you can stay safe. Please stay safe. Get away from here. These geckos are monstrosities. 48, yeah. I kind of feel that. 30.
What was your total?
I got 30.
Out of 30? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's you are doing it, but it's taking a little while, as basically you are dashing around. It's all very chaotic, and so it's taking a few moments. You have a number of shots you have to do this in, where it's like you're coming out and you're trying, and so more people are getting stepped on is basically what I'm saying. But you are able to start, getting, eventually people will start listening and they start moving in the direction you tell them, which is helpful. As Hippocrates and Gilbert bear down on these, what in chat has been called the 4 geckos of the apocalypse. Thank you so much for that, Hawkeye. That's wonderful. So you're driving toward these geckos that are now starting to move away. So they're moving closer to the town. They're starting to leave the drive-in. All these cars have been in the way, kind of. I think I'm going to need, I need Michael to make a some kind of roll here to drive this thing. Do you have driving, by the way?
I do. Yeah.
Please make a driving roll.
All right. Let's see. 844. Yes. 5.
Good. Excellent. Okay. So you very expertly are getting past. There are shots of these vehicles coming up and honking and moving out of your way. And it shows a little tense scene as you're sort of turning, and I think it shows you have to make a slightly hard turn, and it shows it shows Desmond on the wagon as it moves unsteadily. But you're able to avoid the vehicles as you pull up to the edge just outside the drive-in.
And I think during the drive, this is where I go off script, where Michael goes off script.
Excellent. Yes.
Tells to Laura.
And Laura's like, "Oh my goodness." Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna survive this. So I need to tell you something.
Okay.
A message that you can pass along.
Okay.
There's a girl. Her name is Peggy Sue, and once upon a time, we fell in love as children. But sometimes unexpected things happen, like animals growing into gigantic proportions and couples falling out of love. I'm sorry, but if I don't survive this, you have to tell Peggy Sue that it's not her, and it's not me either. But it just wasn't meant to be. There are some things that man is not supposed to know, but we have to listen to our heart. Can you please do this for me, Laura?
Okay. Can I get you to make a looks roll for me, please?
Sure.
As you deliver this monologue?
Sure. I don't know what my... Nope.
Okay. So, Casper cuts, he says, "It's a very interesting improvisation, but I think we're going to have to... We may have to cut that part out."
No. Sir, if you could keep that in, I would take it as a personal favor. And it's only short. You can maybe even cut it a little bit. But can I try to use my fame to persuade?
Yeah. So this is we're gonna be doing the equivalent of kind of you trying to storm off the set for this. So yes, make your fame roll here, and we'll see how this goes.
Yes.
You have succeeded. So, you see, there's like, well, it is important to you, I see. I too was in love once. Much time ago.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
I will see what we can do. I think perhaps there is something there that we can use. I may have to intersperse it with more gecko attacks, you understand.
Of course.
But I think it will help get the point across of the inner meaning, of your inner turmoil as expressed through the giant geckos. And so it gets to stay in. And we arrive at the drive-in. There are 4 giant geckos bearing down, apparently. Actually, what we have again is this shot of these 4 normal-sized geckos in this tiny miniature drive-in, moving toward tiny little car with this tiny little cart on the back of it with this tiny little thing, this tiny little barrel put on it. And then we're going to cut to you with normal sized. What are you doing?
Yeah, Dr. Physicist Gilbert is going to just start, just kind of angle himself so like he could get two creatures at once. Just kind of, like almost like a war movie. As they have sprinkles going on off camera to simulate the aerosol sound effects.
All right. So this is for the entire ball of wax.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to make a nuclear physics roll.
Okay. Of that bell and some. There it is. Okay. That is a 73.
Okay. So, the good news is you're going to be able to spray a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
You've managed to get one and another one, and you see, again, this special effect where they mat in this gecko as it starts slowly to, like, just sort of, as they get it to lie down, and then they sort of show it slowly shrinking through a matte effect. But I regret to inform you that the other two geckos have reached the model of Main Street and are proceeding to crush the post office.
Oh no.
We see the back of the post office going down as one gecko climbs on top of it and another one just sort of breaks through, and again we hear the sound effect of them crying out. Sound of, I can't do it very well, as we've determined by now. This sound of this not Godzilla voice, because they would be sued, but of a sort of similar sounding large lizard creature, basically, is what they're going for. So Abby, you're gonna see so over where you are, they've told you that they've told the extras to act even more panicked as these geckos are destroying the post office, and we're gonna see another matte shot. They actually spring for a matted in shot of this very clever thing of this gecko coming over the back of this model of the post office. It's shot from the front, and then cut in below that is the street, Main Street, where you have led a lot of these people who are still, running and trying to get indoors. And they turn, and they scream as they see what appears to be on the screen this giant gecko, matted in terribly, the regular sized gecko matted in terribly, but coming over the top of this post office. What would you like to do?
Oh no. What have I done? Well, okay, I think Abby is going to try to throw something, but not in the direction. So try to focus the attention not on the people, but on her. So she might move away from Main Street and try to throw something at this gecko. I know she has like a slingshot. So I'm gonna try to see if I can aim and hit for the gecko.
I'll tell you what, if it's one of those sort of stone thrower type slingshots, then you can use your throwing skill.
Okay. Let's see. I was thinking of that one. Okay.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Let's hope we roll up. We did not, in fact, roll up. We got a 96.
Okay. So, again, good news and bad news. So, there are, for the most part, you're able to get the people to run. It doesn't take much. The second gecko bursts through the front of the post office as it had mail to pick up. Comes through and is starting to head towards the diner that's on the corner. People are panicking, running, and it does again step on a couple of people. That again we see tiny little models, and then we cut back to the person lying on the ground with fake blood on them. But you are getting its attention as it only crushes like a corner of the diner, of the little model of the diner, and then turns and is paying attention to you now as you had, after you flung a few stones at it and its friend. The two geckos are looking at you. Or rather, we see a shot of these two geckos shot from really low down as they're like up and menacing and looking toward the camera, just a little to the side of the camera, and then it shows you your perspective from above, as it shows that you're down there on the street. What would you like to do?
You foul creatures! You hurt so many people today, and I don't appreciate it. And I'm gonna try, I don't know, maybe I don't think animal training will make sense, but my idea would probably try to like what I just said and use it against them, like behave in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's possible. That's certainly a possibility. Do you have the animal training skill as well as the animal handling, or just the animal, not handling, as well as the animal husbandry, or is it just the animal husbandry skill?
I have both. I have training in husbandry.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah, you could go in either direction here. It's just, it depends on if you're using knowledge from how to handle and breed animals, or if you're dealing more with, how to get animals to behave a certain way. What sort of thing are you looking to do with the geckos?
I am going to try to get them to behave in a way, stop. Try to be stop moving or something.
Okay.
You geckos, you colossal geckos, I demand that you stay right here and you stop. You're causing too much destruction to this poor town, and I don't appreciate it. So I'm gonna...
Yeah, go ahead and roll animal training.
Okay, I'm gonna try rolling on not R20, roll 20.
Roll 20, yeah.
Instead of my own.
Roll a D100, and we'll see what you got.
And less than 27 is the most. I think I did it wrong. Okay,
no, that's okay.
Maybe I did.
If you want, you can just roll a D100. We know it's 27, so you can see what happens.
Okay. I'm gonna try again. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
And 27. Okay, I'm just gonna roll it and see. Since it's not working on my thing. Is this 12?
12?
Yes.
You got it. Okay.
Yes.
So we see this shot from above of the tiny model of the town. We see the geckos. Well, we see the geckos sort of stop. As one of them sort of comes over, moves away from the diner, and then it shows a slowed down shot from below again to make them look big, as they're sort of lowering down just a bit, looking ahead. Well, one of them's looking ahead, the other one's kind of looking off camera. And then it shows you, and again, matted in, with these two geckos lying on the street, just sort of watching you patiently.
Now, that wasn't hard, was it? You see, when you're calm,
you're just sort of there. They're like, it's kind of like looking at you. And I think at this point, there is a moment where it's sort of, there's this intense look that it shows even closer up of the two as they're watching you and showing you just sort of standing there. And it's like, you've got their attention for now, but you need to hold on to this. Yeah. So at this point, we're going to see the vehicle driving back, I would assume. As you're coming in from the side. Yeah.
Dr. Gilbert, you have these giant guns with this secret formula. And these geckos are very, very big, but they're very, very calm. Maybe, I don't know, spray them?
There's a like proto Hot Fuzz level shot of Dr. Gilbert like rolling the nozzle of the garden hose so that it's like a wide spray and will actually spray visible liquid. Then just both on one, then both on the other.
Okay. I need you to make your nuclear physics roll, please. And
Alrighty.
you're going to add 20 to it because these are calm geckos that are not moving currently.
Alrighty, 70 or lower. Alright, that does not do it. That is an 83.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as you come up and you're spraying, you
Wait,
get
hold-
one of them.
You know. Okay.
And it's like the other one that's over by the diner starts to leap up and kind of freak out a little bit. And in reality, what happened is that the animal actor, the real gecko, just sort of decided to leap up and start chewing on the diner again a little bit. And they just left it in. So you get one of them, and it starts shrinking back down. It'll show again, this very badly matted in, this gecko starting to get smaller and just sort of lying there. But the other one, it looks like, is scampered around and is making a line north past the diner. It slams a little bit into the drugstore on the corner as well, gets a piece of that, and is starting to try to move away from you all. What would you all like to do? It's just a few houses in its way. It's
Yeah.
probably fine.
So it's trying to leave Briarville, or
Well, it seems to be moving away from you, or more specifically, moving away from Dr. Gilbert. But it is probably going to step on a number of houses on its way out of town.
Yeah.
wait a second, Dr. Gilbert. The path it's taking, it's gonna go right by the school.
Oh no!
No, this is good. Remember the Briarville mascot. They're the Briarville houseflies. It's stimulus response. Once it sees the housefly on the billboard, we just have to light it up. They'll pause, and then we can spray it.
Yes. Medical doctor, you're a genius.
Of course. All right. We just have to call ahead. So the cleaners should be there at this hour.
I love this so much.
It's incredible.
Yes. I have the number for the school. I tried calling to get someone.
We see
light up.
Hippocrates running to a payphone,
That's right.
which still existed at that time. You're picking up and dialing, try to get. As you were trying to convince the staff to turn on the billboard, is that what's happening?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Do you have persuasion by any chance?
I do have a good. That's my highest score, actually.
Excellent.
but-
So
I probably just jinxed myself.
We'll go ahead and roll persuasion. We'll see how this does, and then you can let us know what it looks like. Ooh.
Oh, I missed it by 5.
Missed it by 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to be slow to agree. But the director tells you they're going to be slow to agree, but ultimately they will do it. It is just going to take them a moment, and that is what it is. So you'll need to argue with them a little bit.
You have to do this. The town is in danger. Listen to me. I'm a medical doctor. I know what I'm talking about. You have to turn on the billboard. The housefly will attract the giant gecko. Listen, if you do this for me, I will waive all medical fees for a year, for you and your family. Please,
right.
Time is of the essence. All
right. So we have a shot of this remaining gecko just basically plowing through a house, and it's a model of a house, and we see again that it sort of slows in slow motion, these splinters and boards coming away from the house as this gecko plows through. And then it sort of clambers over another house. And then eventually, we see it approaching the school's athletic field, and it's starting to turn away. Then we see the light turn on. Oh my god. And so just for the... Again, I'm going to show chat real quickly to show where this is coming from. We see the bright figure of Harry Housefly, their mascot. Thank you. And as this happens, and the gecko slowly just basically clambers toward the athletic field, curious. What are the rest of you doing?
While this is happening, we're gonna have to try to get up to the athletic field and tie the tank to the sprinkler system.
Ah, okay. Now, this would be something kind of the skill here would probably be plumbing, which I'm going to assume you do not have.
I mean, it's worth a shot, but I don't think so. I do not.
Okay. So we're going to go with the dexterity roll, and we're going to see what happens. Again, we're going to read this like tea leaves, but it's going to take a moment.
Alrighty. Oh, he drew that. Feel me now. And there's the other one's on the floor this time. That's a 27.
Okay. What's your dex?
Oh, dex is... Let's see... versus 19.
Okay. So, you're going to do it, but... At this point, you have heard you can hear the sirens of law enforcement coming. And also the fire department is finally... Someone has noticed there's a problem.
Really?
I know, right?
Say what you will about the government response time.
And, so these lights now come on toward the gecko as it is slowly trying to climb up this billboard. And we see that basically we have shots of these cars, these cop cars coming to a halt, and these cops coming just nervously, just looking over the hood of the car, just amazed at this giant gecko, and they've got their guns out. And you see them starting to shoot at the gecko. The gecko
Whoa.
moves around to the other side of the billboard. Sorry, go ahead.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't think that's a bright idea. The guns might scare the gecko further.
So, Abby, sorry, Tasha, I will need you to do more. Do you have, again, you have persuasion, right?
Yes.
Yes, do more persuasion for me if you would.
Let's get under 30. 25.
You made it. Okay.
Yeah.
So they do eventually stop shooting. It's the they they're like, hey, what? Oh, but no, they stop once they see you coming out, and they're like, what? Oh, no. And one of them is like, what the hell is that thing?
Well, if your eyes don't deceive you, there's a giant gecko in your vicinity.
The gecko has clambered up to the other side of the board. It's hiding behind the. It's still up there, but it's hiding behind the billboard, on the other side of which is Harry Housefly. What are the rest of you doing?
Dr. Gilbert.
That's right. You were trying to work it into the sprinkler system, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to get the sprinklers to hit it. Yeah, you are going to note, and Michael, Hippocrates, you're going to note that this gecko is looking really nervous, and you don't know how much longer it's going to stay up there.
Right. I run to the sports with where the controls are, and I go to the loudspeaker and I turn it on. I just go.
Oh my God. Yes. I would call this acting, but we could go with persuasion for this.
All right.
You're trying to persuade the geckos. This is really you're lying. This is actually could be lying too. But you rolled a 16, which is good.
Yeah.
So the gecko is like, and you see it peek its head up over the billboard and look down at this animated fly. That's on this lit up billboard, this neon billboard that keeps going back and forth between this waving housefly. And that buys just enough time. Dr. Gilbert, what does this look like when the sprinklers activate?
There is a string of dials, all the way to their highest setting is, and then like Frankenstein, there's a flip of a crank, and there's a maniacal laugh, like, and there's a bubbling flow from the tank barrel all the way down the hose into the thing, past Dr. Gilbert, and then cut to the miniatures as like several little water spouts installed into the miniature athletic field. And yet the gecko kind of like leans over and shots like just water being the gecko.
Okay. And the gecko, you see different shots of this spray hitting the gecko from all sides as it scrambles up and down this tiny miniature sign. And it shrinks down as it comes to rest, and it shrinks down. And finally, you have gotten the last of the giant geckos.
What a miracle. What a miracle.
So now we're going to see, as we're zooming out, we're going to see the final montage as the credits are going to start rolling in a moment. We're going to get before the ending credits. We're going to see a little montage of each of these characters as we say goodbye to them. So, who do we see first? What do we see them doing?
I was going to go last, but if people need more time, I think we see the montage, like a press release from Dr. Physicist Gilbert. Then it cut to one of the others. Cut to him walking through a new and refurbished lab, which is just the same one with nicer lighting. And the very last shot is him opening up one of the same boxes we saw in the beginning. Dr. Gilbert reaches in, pulls out a jerboa. Now, what to do with you?
Wait, what did you pull out of the box?
A jerboa, like this little like desert rodent.
Nice. Awesome. Who's next?
I think I'll go. Okay. Abigail. Well, not Abigail, but Tasha is sitting on her porch. She's watching her the sunset. She's like midday. She has done like all her work for the day. She's like milked the cows. She brushed the hair of the like the horses and made sure everything was great with them. She picked up the eggs from the chickens and stuff like that. So she's decided to sit on her porch, and she has like a glass of lemonade. And now she looks at like this, she's like relaxing, and then she hears the croaking of like a little frog, and she says, well, you seem not dangerous, even though I encountered bigger than you. I'll let you be if you let me be, and we will have a good afternoon and watch the sunset. And then the camera pans from Natasha looking at the frog, and the frog somehow looking back at Tasha, and then it pans to the sunset.
I love that. Watching the sunset with a toad.
Yep.
And what's the last we see of Hippocrates?
I don't know. I can't top those. I imagine you just see him back in his office, and that same kid is there, and unfortunately he did not heed the doctor's advice. He has been playing with cacti again, so I'm treating him. And I give him a lollipop, and he says, "Can I have another one?" And I say, "Sure." And I give him another one. He says, "It's for my pet." And he kind of opens up his pocket, and a gecko kind of pokes his head out, and the doctor kind of like backs away for a second. and he just starts laughing. And he looks at the mom, and she starts laughing, and they all start laughing.
And I think the last shot that we have, as the credits have been rolling, the credits roll. There are not a lot of credits. It's still kind of the 70s. And we pan down, again, after a number of shots of stock footage of the desert. We pan down into the canyon. And then we show that little cave again with the little green pool of liquid. And the words "the end" come across the screen. But we see entering the cave, we see a little javelina. Little sort of peccary warthog-like animal. Just sort of looking up and sniffing at the pool. And a big question mark appears behind the words "the end."
It's looks like a little pig.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like a little warthog. These creatures. And with that, the movie comes to an end, and we are kicked back to the host, who will once again look back into the camera where he's been waiting. Well, did you all survive? I think we've learned a valuable lesson. Never let your gecko out after dark. I hope you've enjoyed this evening's diabolical entertainment. Sleep well and have glorious nightmares. And thus endeth It Came from the Late, Late, Late Show. Thank you all very much for playing. It is very much appreciated. It is a delight every time I get to run this. So it was awesome getting to finally do this sort of the giant creature disaster film that I've always wanted to do. I went back and rewatched Night of the Lepus for this. Which is something to see if you want to see something kind of horrifying and hysterical. But we're going to do our outros now. We're going to go around. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you, and feel free to plug anything you like and give us any final thoughts you had about this game. We're going to go in reverse order from the way that we started. So we are going to start with Rod.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks everyone. It's just like the game is just so gonzo, but it's fun. I think there's just one little thing to add at the after party. I think Michael's stunt double David finally, says, "Oh, I'm glad you broke up. I'm glad you got rid of that woman. I never liked her." And they chat up and somehow Michael gets his number, or vice versa. I'm Rod. I don't know. I'm also a writer. One of these days, I'm gonna get a website, and then I can plug it on opportunities like this. I don't have one right now. But if you ever want to read a fun short story, just look up Rod M. Santos. I have a bunch of humorous stories. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent. Yay. Hey, very cool coda there. It was a delight to have you back to be able to play this game on stream for the first time, but of course playing the game for the second time, and so it's neat. I always like the ability to bring back previous actors for playing different roles. Freaking hysterical. That was so good. And now we are going to head over to Sway.
Hi, I'm Sled. I played Abigail Bennett playing Natasha Brown. I am simply a kid in the world trying to engage in their hobbies. My socials is Sway Babbles, BABBLES, and Sway, like the word Sway. You can find me anywhere: Twitter, Instagram, even Tumblr. I'm so serious. You can literally find me anywhere, even Reddit with that user. I have it. That's my brand. Yeah, this is my first time. This is actually my second time on my live stream. So yeah, and I had a lot of fun. I'm trying new things, you know. So yeah, if anyone needs a player, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. That was very cool. and Abby was hysterical. So good, so good.
Thank you.
And finally, we will head over to Levi.
Hello, I am Levi. You can find me on Twitter at LeviPhips97. Like the jeans at bluesky.social. You can find my design stuff on levi-phips.itch.io. Mostly playbooks for this stuff, including Interstitial, a crossover fanfiction RPG that just got a second edition. So when that's published, I'll be sure to update my playbooks and add more. This was a great time. It's always a good time on Channel Other Doc, and I'm surprised by how much I like this game. I'll definitely keep it in my radar.
Excellent, excellent. As we got you on the channel again. It's only been forever.
It's been 84 years.
At least 84 years. Thank you so much for coming back. This was so much fun. I tell you, yes, I waited a long time to finally run this game. Finally doing it this year, and it's an absolute delight. But who am I? That's a great question. For now, we'll say that I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things, if you're looking at the Twitch page. On Thursdays, we have Blades in the Dark, run by Brian. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been playing a character pinch hitting for my regular character who's been recovering from stress. And I think we're going to see the aftermath of the job we just did, which it was a lot. There was so much was going on with that one. We stole a major freaking relic from the church, and I have a feeling they will be upset with us because we did it in broad daylight while they were having a major ceremony. So I think that's going to be wonderful. And on Sundays, if we're able to get folks together, we've been having a little several bouts of real life going on. So it's unfortunately hitting us as it sometimes does when one gets into campaigns that last more than a month or two. But with any luck, Sunday afternoon, we will be back with Alas for the Angry Void. That is my gothic sci-fi reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea. They are currently on a planet they need to leave. They feel very urgently they need to leave this planet, but all flights have been grounded, so they are having trouble getting off the planet. We will see what happens as they're getting desperate, and so that's when very interesting things happen. So feel free to come and check that out if you are so inclined. And that's about it for right now. This was the last of the one-shots this month. This on this Wildberg, it's not the last day of the month. It's actually, for me, it's after midnight, so we're already into May. But I am going to do later in late May, I'm going to run a single. I've decided of the various one-shots I was throwing out there, I'm going to do one of them on stream, and that is going to be near the end of May. and it's Monster of the Week, Gothic Century. Basically the Victorian era setting for that game, where you go and you do monster hunting. And so I'm very much looking forward to those games. I'm going to do a couple of them off stream and one of them on stream. And so I think that'll be a lot of fun. More information on that as we get closer to it. And in the meantime, that's about it. I'm going to be maybe doing some video gaming on stream, but that'll be about it otherwise. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. We may possibly go say hi to someone after we hit the end card. So feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us if you're so inclined. In the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.